Hey everyone, this is Jedi DJ, and today we are playing the Dune Awakening Beta. So I got to play this all weekend, and I kind of wanted to show how far I got and how much of the map I got to see and the quests, and kind of just give you like my overall opinions of the game so far. Now with that said, I'm going to walk you around our base quick as I talk at you for a few minutes. I'm a really big Dune fan. I've read most of the books. I'm still working my way through a couple of them. I have enjoyed the movies, both the old ones and the new ones. I enjoy the Dune universe, talking about Dune, learning about Dune, and so this game was pretty much going to be probably something I would enjoy, I would say. So I'll just get that out there right out of the way. But it's much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I think that's like my first impressions. The game's actually really big, and the maps are really huge. So let's go ahead and start with that. When you start out the game, you start out down here in Haga Basin, and you can see how big this map area is. You can see the edges, and there's stuff to do here. There's waypoints and missions, and I'll show you guys if you zoom in over here. There's an outpost you can visit right up here on these rocks, and then over here, as you kind of move across, there's a shipwreck right over here, the wreck of Alkion, and then right in between is an Imperial testing facility over in here, right there. And so I kind of actually started way over here somewhere, and I made my way over to my buddy Jared's house over here, and then we kind of made like a guild house and formed a guild. And from there, we kind of explored the Haga Basin before driving a sand bike across this region here, dodging sandworms, to get to, I think there's like the Vermilion something? Yeah, Eastern Vermilion Gap. And that's up here. And there's all kinds of more quests and content, as well as a second city, and not a city, a second settlement that you can visit up here. And I'm going to show you guys that settlement right now. Now, these red spots on the ground are drum sand, so they make extra noise and attract the sandworms. Pretty much sandworms are anywhere that the mountains are not in Dune, right? So you see mountains and stuff, anywhere in between can be sandworms, essentially. And they will eat you, and you do lose everything when you die. Now, I have actually completed quite a bit of this game, but before we get into the quests and talking about that, I just kind of want to show you guys around. So this is your character. You can hit B to open up your backpack. You can look in your inventory and what you're carrying. You have your weapon slots here, and then you have your equipment that you're wearing. Pretty basic. You have your crafting menus here. You can craft stuff that has to do with water, stuff that has to do with weapons and armor, stuff that has to do with construction, and then, just extra random stuff. So you can get research here, which is kind of like learning new schematics, just like most survival games. So I won't spend too much time at that. But you can learn like how to make buggies and sand bikes, and eventually ornithopters up in here. All right, then you also have skill trees, which are actually really cool. This is the Swordmaster skill tree, and I've learned it all the way up to this point, this far. And it says I need a trainer to go beyond this, so I think you can't do it in the beta. But this is the Swordmaster tree, which I really enjoyed. There's the Bene Gesserit tree. I'll kind of hover over these so you can kind of see some of their some of the abilities that you would get towards the end of the tree. You basically, there's all kinds of just really cool abilities that have to do with whatever class you take. Here's the scientist one. Here's the mentat. And here's the trooper. So, and I did unlock a little bit of the trooper tree as well, and I have not unlocked the science tree. Like, I did unlock the science tree, but I didn't put any points in it yet. But you could do that by hitting spacebar and learning the stuff. So you can actually do hybrid classes. As you can see, I am part swordsman and part trooper at the moment. I'm not sure what I'll do for the final game, but hey, who knows? Your customization over here, you can actually change the way your outfit looks, like dyeing it with different colorations and stuff. Kind of interesting. And we can actually see all the vehicles here that you're going to be able to get. So we have a sand bike and a buggy, and I'll show you both of these. You can get scout ornithopters, assault ornithopters, carrier ornithopters, and sand crawlers. That sounds really awesome. The only ones that you can technically get right now are the sand bikes and the buggy, and I don't even think that most people can get the buggy. I'll tell you how we got it in a second. But I think we kind of cheesed the system to get it. I do have like a level, some kind of fancy sword we found that we crafted a schematic for. Anyways, let's see here. I think that's it for the menus. You can see my level is currently 30 at the top right. Here's the social window. You can get friend invites. You can create parties. You can, I don't know what this thing is. It must be an event log. There's guilds. You can see that we are in a guild. And you can go over to Lannistrad or whatever, and you can vote to make differences in the game. That's something else they're adding. All right. Anyways, enough of that. We've seen the menus. Let's see the actual game. So here's our base. I think I already walked you guys through it at the beginning, so I won't waste any time. Go low fuel. We shouldn't be low fuel. I think I refueled it. But you you would hit F, and then you would hit refuel. As long as you have fuel. I don't have any extra fuel. I think I have gas. Yeah, I did fill it up. It was just low fuel beforehand. We back it up here. I'm pretty sure the first thing people are going to ask is like, can I see a sandworm? So, yeah, let's go to the sandworm. See if we can stir one up. Alright, I'm going to drive out here into the desert, over to this drum sand, and see if we can stir up a sandworm. And yes, I have been eaten by a sandworm one time, and yes, it took everything I own. I hope it doesn't take everything I own this time. There she is! Oh, now there's also another version of the sandworm that comes out and tries to chase you, which might be happening right now. There it is. And that is what happens when a sandworm eats you. I just lost all my gear, so yeah, there's that. Alrighty. I need to respawn, and I lost my sand bike as well, which was really cool. You actually get a cool cutscene the first time you die, and you learn about the sandworm and how it's not merciful, but this one time they give you back your sand bike. Let me see here. Checkpoint, Eastern Greenland. I think I can respawn at a checkpoint. I guess I'll finish up by showing you guys the the settlement that's up here. This is as far as you can go north as well. They have locked out the rest of the map with a giant shield wall. So there you go. That's what you look like when you spawn naked. And it looks like we spawned at the outpost, which is nice. I believe this is the, yeah. Awesome. So I lost all my stuff. That's absolutely amazing. I'll show you guys the outpost. It's kind of neat. Hey everybody. Alright, so we have another sand bike, and we have more gear, and we're going to head back up and kind of pick up where we left off a second ago when we were looking at the outpost. And I'll show you guys around the outpost. I'll show you guys the buggy. And hopefully this time we won't get eaten by a sandworm. Then I'll show you guys some combat. So my plan here is to kind of show you guys a little bit of everything. They actually have really cool garages you're supposed to park in over here, so I'll go park in the cool garage. And it keeps your bike from getting damaged out in the sandstorm. Let's park it in here. Here is the buggy. I'll tell you guys a cool story about this buggy. First off, you're not supposed to be able to craft it right now because we don't have access to steel. We're mining steel ore. So I'll tell you how we got it in a second, but this is a larger vehicle, and you can put a mining tool on the top and drive around with your friends, essentially. But this thing's kind of overheating right now because it's damaged. Kind of neat, right? Just kind of cool that we managed to build one. So this is what we did. We went to over. There is a lab over here, testing station. I think it was testing station 10. I don't think it was that one. But this is a testing station. We went to one of these sort of things. I think we went to 10 over here. Either way. And inside, they're like dungeons. And towards the end of the dungeon, we found a scrap version of the ship, and we were able to actually saw it apart and disassemble it, and bring the parts back here to reassemble it. And we were actually able to use it too, which is wild. My buddy hasn't even seen it yet. I reassembled it without him online, so he'll probably be surprised when he comes back. All right, so here's the outpost. There is several outposts like this in the game. This is a real player, which I can interact with, and you can trade players. You can invite them to party, private message them, inspect them, etc. Right? Cool. You can invite them guild into party. This is another person you can learn about her and her house. Here is where you can join the House Atreides. You can do missions for him. And over here you can do missions to join House Harkonnen. Over here you can get contracts off the contract board, and you can turn them in, like missions. And over here is a guy you can buy and sell from.
Still alive? That's too bad. We had a bet going.
Here you can buy parts for like sand bikes, or you can buy heal kits, or ammunition, weapons, items, all kinds of stuff. I actually needed a shield, so let me buy that before we go back into combat. And you can also sell stuff, just the same here. I can sell these blade parts. I can sell gun parts. Look at that. All right, cool. So, there you go. And that is an outpost. Let's head back down to the house, where I will potentially craft something, or we might go straight out to combat. Yeah. I'm probably gonna go out and do some combat. All right, so let's take a look at some combat, shall we? We're gonna go over to this little Karab camp right here and see if we can find a bad guy to fight. I'll show you guys the combat with the guns and the swords. Now I have gone ahead and unlocked as far up the swordsman tree as the game will let me currently. So I've learned everything that you can learn, so I have all the abilities unlocked as far as beta is concerned. So I'll show you guys what some of those look like. And let's take a look at blocking people and attacking. It kind of works a lot like other... Oh, it actually works a lot like Dragonscape, or whatever. Oh, Dragon Wilds. RuneScape Dragon Wilds is what it is. It's kind of what it works like, where you can block and jump and jump stamina bar. So, kind of Souls-like, I think, in a way. Looks like there's a camp here, so let's try climbing this. Spacebar pretty much lets you climb anything in the game, which is kind of neat. There's definitely some kind of shield on this thing. A prescience store. Prudence store. No access. What's in there? Is this someone's house? Oh, this is somebody's house. Actually stumbled onto. Oh, that's so cool. A player's house. So where's the little camp? It's on the other side of this. Let's see if we can drop in on them. Do we hear some gunshots? There's bad guys over there. That'll work. Alright, we're going to turn our shield on with H. Pull out a gun. I'll show you guys gun combat first. Show a little bit of sword combat. I guess it's kind of hard to make this scripted because it's not scripted. We have a little spin attack we can do. Yeah, and a slow attack to get through them. Finish them off. There you go. You can loot them when they're dead. You can also drain their blood, so I'll show you guys what that looks like. There you go. Drain their blood for your refinery back at the house for resources. Alright. You can loot the chests here. Awesome. And that's pretty much combat. I'll show you guys my basic abilities again. I've got a knee charge. It goes like this. Slams into people. I've got a parry attack like this, which will automatically parry instead of me having to right-click to block. And then we've got spin attack, which is kind of cool. You can also eat spice, and it makes you have enhanced combat abilities. And this is my floaty device, so I can float like a belt, Emperor's Wings belt. And then here's my shield I can toggle on and off. Not enough power. I ran out of power. So, oh, there it is. I think it just came back on. Okay. My sand bike. If you look at the map, I can find where I parked it. Was where to park my sand bike? Am I sitting on it? Is it over here? Where did my sand bike go? I think I parked it right by the dude's house. Right on the other side. Yeah, there it is. Very cool. I think that's most of what I wanted to show you guys about Dune. Oh yeah, I didn't show you guys the cut array. Right? See here? You can scan a rock. Draw a little smiley face on it. Usually it pops open. I'm gonna put my shield off. And you gather the resources. You can also pick up ore off the ground like most games. You can also gather flowers and stuff. There's like another rock. Scan it. I think I'm zoomed in the wrong way. I would like to change my hair. Hit shift. I can change this side. There we go. I like this look better from over the right shoulder. Works better for me. Scan that rock. Smiley face on it. There we go. And we gather copper ore, and that's how mining and gathering kind of works in the game. So we've seen combat, we've seen gathering, we saw base building, and we saw the map overall. We saw all the skill trees, the quest lines. You can do the trials of Aikbul, all the way up to the 5th trial here. Locate the 5th trial. then you can join a house, and there's different contracts and stuff, and all kinds of cool stuff you can learn in here. So, well, that's it. My impressions overall for the game are that it's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I do like survival games, and I do like Dune, and this is both those things. Is it perfect? No. But is it pretty awesome, and does it work really well? Yeah, it does. Surprisingly, it works surprisingly well. You know, better than I thought, and it's much larger world than I thought. So I've only explored the first 2 areas so far, and both have been lots and lots of content in them. So let's kind of speed across this desert here. Hopefully we don't get the attention of a worm again. Da-da-da! Head back to our house. I actually met some other players not too long ago, and they wanted to drive my Dune buggy, so I added them to the Dune buggy, so they could try it. And then they asked where I got it, so now they're gonna go try to get one. There we are, home, sweet home. I guess I can show you guys. I was showing you guys the crafting and the boxes earlier, storage boxes. Put boxes in, power generator to to generate power for your home. This thing controls the home itself, the sub-thief console, so you can control who's allowed to use it, set to guild, permissions, things like that. Storage, you can store stuff in it. So it's kind of like it controls the size of your house as well. The ore refining over here, a fabricator over here for building, and then a blood refinery over here, which turns blood into water. Because you guys might have been wondering, why were you draining blood? Because you deposit it here, and it filters out the blood and just leaves the water, since water is very scarce in the desert environment. So, of course, this is sci-fi. They do not recommend doing this in real life. But yeah, storage boxes, you can drink water. Let's see here. Hold the drink, boop, fills up my water. And that's that. Yeah, I'll show you guys a little overlook out here. At nighttime in the desert, see if we can find them. The solder car police people. Let's climb up to the top of my house. You can basically climb anything in the game, which is super cool. Climb houses, climb walls. It's not letting me up there. Let's try this again. Alright. You can actually look out probably with binoculars. Yeah, across the desert. And those are spice. That's spice that you can collect out in the desert. And then we saw the sandworms earlier. That's the big hammer rock that you have to climb for the 4th trial, all the way to the top. It's really cool. Let's see. And then, yeah, there's no solder car police out that I can see, but they basically have a ship that hovers around and spots you. And if it spots you, it freezes you, and like 5 or 6 dudes jump out, and you have to fight them. Or they kill you, one or the other. Alright, so we just barely survived a sandstorm. The sandstorm did beat up our bike pretty bad, but we have arrived at a camp to check out some combat. So let's go ahead and do that. This is, let's see here, in the Eastern Vermilion Gap. We zoom in, we can see that there is a Eastview Intel here, a Karab camp, and some stuff to mine, it looks like. So let's check out this camp. Usually there's some pretty good loot in these places. Pull out our sword, take a look at our armor here. Show you my, ooh, that was one of my abilities on accident. Let's turn on our shield with H. You have to be wearing a shield. We also have a little bit of hover technology. There's a bad guy right there. Just trying to see how many there are. There's quite a few of them.
There's someone here.
That one looks pretty bad over there. Let's try to pick off some of the smaller ones first. Oh, you got through my shield. That's not good. Their combo needs to be bad. Die. Really need to do is run out of the way, self-revive. As long as you have water, you can self-revive. backside maybe. Could heal up, bandage. This is actually a pretty good showcase of the combat, I think. It's pretty tough, honestly. So those machine gun guys can really do you dirty. Loot him.
Shield on.
Oh, here's good opportunity to use a gun. There we go. Switch back to sword here because we're close quarters. There's probably gonna be some intel in here. Look at that, we got some Karab heavy pants. That's pretty good. You can drink some water, which is good. Looks like we have just a second of downtime in the combat here. I'm trying to look for the intel. Usually there's intel in this room, like usually it's right here, setting on this thing. So it's possible I already got the intel and I've returned to this camp because sometimes, you know, you go to a lot of camps, they kind of look the same. Use a knee attack there, like a charged up knee attack. That's a pretty cool move. I'm gonna do a slow attack, which is like a charge. Shooting at him. It's kind of hard when you have people shooting at him and sword fighting. I need to make it out of here. If I can self-revive without them killing me, would be really good. Alright.
Kill them all.
Try to bandage back up. My shield's holding really well, which is good. This is obviously a little bit easier with friends too, but I think you guys are getting a really good picture of the combat. If you successfully parry, it does stagger them. And then you do like attack, and then you have to do like a hold attack to get through their shield, like in slow motion. Alright, we'll finish looting this place up. Some money and stuff. That guy didn't even see me. We're gonna check the rest of the buildings. Definitely another machine gunner over there or something. Or two of them over there on the thing, I can see them. But there's some pretty good loot in here. It'll definitely help with some crafting and stuff. And I'm wondering if I just haven't found the intel yet, or if that's where it was, you know? Intel helps you learn stuff. Like more crafting recipes. You can choose which one you want to learn if you have more intel. Ooh, grenade. Take care of him.
Shields up. Eyes on enemy.
There we go. And that is combat in Dune Awakening. At least it's the trooper class. You can see on the bottom of my screen I have like a leap charge attack, which is C, like that. It can actually one-shot weaker enemies. We have a blade spin, and then we have like a repost attack that deflects and bounces it back. And then if we open up our tree here, go to K for skill tree, go to the Sword Master, which is what I'm playing, you can see all my abilities here on the screen, and you'd have to pause it to read them, right? But basically, then you can hit S, and you can pick 3 active abilities you want from all the ones you've learned, and then 3 passive techniques as well. And then you can also, if we go back, you could pick different stuff from different trees. Like I'm starting to learn the Trooper tree, but you could also learn the Mentat tree or the Scientist tree or the Bene Gesserit tree, right? So you could learn different stuff and mix and match them. All right, so that's pretty much combat. We're going to loot this last box, and we'll move on to the next thing. Hey everybody, I got another thing to show you about the Dune beta weekend. A lot of people are wondering if prescience is in the game, meaning can you consume spice? And yes it is. So how do you do that? I'm going to show you guys really quick as part of my little review of the weekend here. Go to our inventory. You have to first complete the 4th trial. If I look at the journey, there are the trials of AQL, and the 4th one will unlock the ability to eat spice. And the 5th one is not available in beta. After you're doing that, you get your first taste of using spice, and now you can consume spice food. Like this. You have to eat a bunch of it. Let's see how much we have to eat. And a spiced beer, spiced food, spiced anything would work. Let's see if we got enough. Alright, we are filling up. You can see our purple bar at the bottom middle of the screen. As soon as it fills up, we will be able to unlock a prescience state. Now, the more often you do this in a row, the more food it takes to do it again. Or we have to wait for a cooldown, and after your cooldown, then you can do it quicker again after that. So it's just like the more you use it, the harder it is to get high and use it again. Here we go. We enter a prescience state, and all of our abilities become enhanced. You can also see more. So like we can see other players and NPCs, and we can see what kind of weapons they're using, and we can see them through walls, and we get special enhanced abilities. So we'll do our blade spin, which is good. It just basically does more damage. It's the same blade spin we have. We get a leap, things like that. But you basically can see more information as well, and I think you get enhanced like stats or whatever. I'm sure. So pretty cool. That's what that looks like. I'm sure there's more to it later on in the game, but that's kind of what there is at the moment now in beta. Alright everybody, so we have the only Dune buggy on our server. I have talked to many people, and everybody asks where we found it. Today, for the end of beta weekends, we are going to sacrifice our Dune buggy to the Shai Hulud as a gift. I have stripped down all of my clothing and gear. You can see me cruising inside the Dune buggy, butt naked in my boxers. And we're going to drive it out into the middle of the desert, feed it to the mighty Sandworm. After which, I'm going to show you guys our base, which is right there behind us, which is pretty tall. First, let us feed. We are now on the drum sand. There we go. We are calling the mighty Sandworm. There he comes. He's breached. Shai Hulud, we bring you gift. Where are you? There he is. We do not fear death. The desert has claimed you. Needed by Growler in the eastern Vermilius Gap. And now we gotta respawn back at our base. Speaking of bases, I want to show you guys the base we made. I know I've shown it a couple times in the video, but this is the last day of beta, and so we have some new footage. And I'll show you guys our completed base. We have happened to build the base as tall as it will let us, because you can't really get a lot of steel yet. They kind of lock that resource out. You can get a little bit of it, but not enough to really make the base any taller, because you have to buy like a steel land permit thing to go higher or whatever. Alright, so we have our parking garage here on the first level with generators. As we move up, we have our crafting areas and workstations with all kinds of storage. Nice little library nook over here. We have our water reserves over here. And we have actually made our base public and made the water public, so anyone passing by can come in and get a drink if they need. They cannot loot anything, but they can come by and look at the base and walk through it. We have little living quarters up here on this next floor with personal desks and bedroom furniture and things like that. And then we can go up one more level to the rooftop where you can overlook the Dune. You can see the sandworms cruise by and see the other players. And then we have one more floor up. We want to see how high you could go And so we went as high as possible and built pillars with the Chome building set all the way up here. And this is as tall as we could get it. Now, if you started someplace higher up, you could also build this high on top of that. But from the ground floor, this is as high as we could get it. So there we are, and you can see the spice out there in the desert. You can go harvest the spice. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the future for more Dune content.